over some of the strategies that we used or had been using for the previous few weeks, and then we set some goals. We have the goal to have our EL students pass the test at 70%, and then we had the goal of students speaking in front of the class with some confidence. So how did we we'll start with the speaking. How did you go about getting students comfortable to speak in front of the class?
First, I had them look at the script, and then they had to go through, and I used some of the RAD strategies so that they could find words they didn't understand. We went through those. I had them practice it in small groups and gave them feedback in their small groups, gave them plenty of time, and then had them perform in front of the class.
So the feedback in small groups, what did that look like?
It was pretty much just individual. It wasn't anything formal. It was, slow down. Paraphernalia is pronounced paraphernalia.
It's a fun word to say.
That was pretty much it.
Okay, and how did the students actually do with that?
Most of them did really well. A matter of fact, one of the SELT level 2s, she is going to actually be performing in the sectional contest, and she's doing an amazing job. A couple students that are just kind of very social but are really shy, they decided that they didn't want to do it in front of the class. So I accommodated them by having them do it in a small group so that they weren't in front of everybody. I kind of pulled them aside like the next day, not when everybody else did it, so that when other students were working on another assignment.
Okay, and so if the goal is ultimately for them to speak in front of the class, what are your plans to get them a little bit more comfortable as we move on with speaking?
So they did okay in the small group. There's another couple parts that they have to memorize for part of the creed that's different than opening and closing ceremonies. So I'm going to expect them to have the first paragraph memorized for that and give it in front of the class.
So how are you gonna scaffold getting them comfortable with that?
I honestly don't know with one of the students because he is extremely shy, so he might just be one of the ones that just won't do it. I mean, he did it in a small group, but he's just painfully shy, so I don't know. Should probably ask Miss Bess to see how he is in her class. Maybe it's something that she can even grade him on and he can do it in front of her class if he feels more comfortable with those students in her EL English class. I need to talk to her about that.
Alright. And for passing your last test with a 70%, how did that go?
At first it didn't go so great. Most of my students in general didn't do amazing either. I think my highest score was like an 86%. But when it came to the ELs, just looking at the ELs, I think about 80% of them failed it at first. So kind of what I did, just real quick before we gotta go, basically I pulled them aside, had them come in after school during the after school program hours. And I just kind of went through some of it, did a little bit of translating, worked with one of the English tutors to get them going. Not giving the answers or anything like that, but just kind of translate a little bit and just giving them more time a little bit. I think they were nervous because they had one period to go through the whole test, and it was kind of a bit of a struggle for them. But I think after I pulled them after school and gave them a little bit extra time and going through stuff, one of the things I noticed on the test was that some of them didn't even finish it. And so I think just giving them a little bit more time was kind of really beneficial to them for that.
So how did it end up going after the reteaching, pulling aside, translating? How did that go?
It did a lot better. Let's see. I only have 4 that are sitting 1 F and then 3 Ds, and then the rest of them have passed. I have at least a C. I have 3 Bs on it as well.
I still can't hear.
And so,
Yeah, poor kid.
what are some other strategies? Did you use like some sentence frames or anything for those strategies?
Yeah, when we were taking the notes before we took the test, I gave him a set of skeleton notes, kind of went with it. And then I pulled out keywords that were part of it, and I gave him a word bank with the Spanish translation for it, just to kind of get it. And then while they were taking tests, or while they were working on labs and everything, I went through with them individually and like, so what is this word, and like what does it mean in English, just to kind of get them to figure that kind of stuff out.